Autoimmune is intense. Autoimmune, there's over 190 named autoimmune conditions out there. Third leading cause of death when you lump them all together. People say, why would you lump all autoimmune conditions together? And ultimately, it's because they are going to have the same underlying reasons why. They're going to have those same reasons. And so that is absolutely what we're looking at when we get into these issues is what is actually going on? Why is the body attacking its own tissue? Why, for any health issue, why is the body doing those things? So just super excited to talk to you guys today. Put your questions down below. I'm gonna love seeing those. And Jess, if you're on there, my mouse is not working on my computer, so I can't see any of those questions. So you just actually put them over onto the Facebook channel there, Jess, and I can see them on there. Thank you. All right, so welcome everybody. Dr. Ben Gallagher, F8 Well Centers. We have offices in Colorado, in Tennessee, and we work with autoimmune. We work with health conditions nonstop with patients, all sorts of different things from autoimmune to digestion to brain to inflammation to not sleeping through the night. Anything that you have an issue with, think about this. There has to be an underlying reason why. And that is the big thing that I want you to get out of this talk today. If there's nothing else that you get is that there's an underlying reason why your body is attacking its own tissue, why the body is having this inflammation, why the body is irritated and not digesting like it's supposed to. So love seeing you guys. If you have any questions at all, put those down below. I usually get hundreds and hundreds of questions during these live Q&As, and I don't have time to get through all of them. So if you want to be one of the first ones to ask, and Jess, that's actually up and running on there, so you can jump back onto Slack. There you go. All right. Okay. So here's the deal, guys. Autoimmune, there's specific reasons why we get these autoimmune conditions. And think about this. Whatever autoimmune condition somebody is dealing with, and a lot of people are dealing with multiple. Put down below what autoimmune condition you're dealing with, and if you have multiple, put multiple on there, and there's going to be a lot. Like Mandy just said, she's got scleroderma. I wouldn't be surprised if there's multiple conditions. Scleroderma, some people, their skin gets really tight, a lot of different things going on with that one. So autoimmune, you've got to think now, whether it's Hashimoto's or anything else. Gina, fibromyalgia, same thought process. Donna, there's Hashimoto's. Fibromyalgia, probably some type of autoimmune there. So put down below which autoimmune you guys are dealing with. And so again, we look at why is that happening? So a lot of times the adrenal glands are going to be driving this immune inflammatory cascade. A lot of times blood sugar swings. So we know we want that blood sugar 85 to 110. So if that blood sugar is swinging, we're going to stimulate immune system. There's Greg's and June, lupus. We're going to stimulate that autoimmune. So if your blood sugar is jumping out of that 85 to 110 throughout the day or night, you are driving more of this. Heidi, good to see you. ITP, my wife had ITP. They ended up taking out her spleen. This was even before I knew her. But fortunately, we've learned a whole lot. Last year, we actually saved a lady's spleen. We were able to get her autoimmune calmed down. She was able to keep her spleen, and she doesn't have ITP anymore. Her platelets went up. There's Denica. Why do traditional doctors run a few tests? And when things are normal, it's just wait. And here's the deal. I've seen it where they'll run markers and even run an ANA, which is an autoimmune marker, and they'll say, well, you don't have enough symptoms yet, so let's wait until it gets worse. And I'll see that all the time. And we're like, heck no, let's calm this down and get this better. So Donna, Hashimoto's, Farm Patriots, Hashimoto's, low adrenal function, unknown myalgia, which is muscle pain, and central serous retinopathy. Nancy, Hashimoto's, also had adrenal fatigue for a long time, and those go hand in hand. The adrenals, if it's a chronic stressor or a short-term major stressor, it is definitely going to do that. So adrenals, blood sugar, vitamin D, get out your blood work, guys. Your vitamin D needs to be at least 80 if you're dealing with some type of immune inflammatory condition. Your vitamin D needs to be at least 80. We've got mild blessings 3. I have erythema multiforme. Yeah, I mean, again, really rare things. Some of these autoimmune conditions, 190 named autoimmune conditions, some I will never see in practice, at least I hope so. Heidi, I had a positive ANA, but they said it wasn't high enough to worry about. Exactly, that's what I just said, Heidi. You know, we see this all the time. People come in and they're like, oh my gosh, I do not know what is going on. It's not right. I don't feel good. My ANA is high, but they just say, wait until it gets worse. Wait until you have more tissue damage, and then we'll do something about it. And what will they do? They'll put you on prednisone, put you on methotrexate, put you on Humira, some of these medications that suppress that immune system. And you go, oh, well, that's it. That's all I'm going to do is just suppress my immune system? No, you've got to fix the why. So adrenals, blood sugar, vitamin D. We've got leaky gut. So put any questions you have down below, guys. I'll be answering these, staying as long as I can to get through these questions. So put those down below and let me know which autoimmune conditions. How do you treat white matter lesions of the brain from autoimmune? Tricia, great question. So here's the deal. Those are two different things. My mom had MS. My mom had MS to the point she was on all the drugs. This was back in the 90s, on all the drugs. She had a cane, she had a wheelchair, and she had full-blown MS, had to go on disability, and was not able to teach anymore. Full-blown, melting down, gonna die in the next 10 years type of MS. Fortunately, she found a doctor that did this type of work even before it was called functional medicine, started going through and working on all these different things. So she had white matter lesions on her brain and spinal cord. Her body was able to heal from those, and she doesn't have them anymore. She's going to be 80 years old in a month and a half, and she does. I just talked to her this morning. She was doing a grading boot camp. She's like, we were doing one of those HIIT workouts, and they're like, oh wow, you used to have MS. That's pretty cool. So there's the autoimmune that is attacking the tissue, and you've got to calm down why the body has that autoimmune. And then on this side, there's the damage that's happening to that white matter, or it's happening to your thyroid, or it's happening to your joints or whatever else. So to help the white matter lesions, you've got to stop the damage. You've got to stop the body from destroying its own tissue, and that's what these are for. Adrenals, blood sugar, vitamin D, leaky gut. We've got infections, like viral infections, like Epstein-Barr virus. So you have to work on that autoimmune side, but then to fix those white matter lesions, now you've got to go in and you've got to work on things that are going to help regenerate, rebuild, repair. So you can look at like nitric balance, nitric oxide, which is going to get this blood flow, this better circulation into the brain. You can look at any type of plaque removing type enzymes can be helpful. You can look at turmeric, fish oil, a bunch of different things that can actually be helpful there. But if you don't stop damaging the tissue, it doesn't matter. We've had many patients with MS that we've been able to help them reverse, get rid of their plaquing, their lesions go away, a lot of good things. So my mom has RA, she's on methotrexate. Laura Lynn, low dose chemo. A lot of people, they start losing their hair. I mean, it is pretty intense, that low dose chemo. They're trying to suppress the immune system. Why? Because the immune system's attacking her joints or whatever other condition you have being attacked there. And none of that addresses why. None of that is addressing your blood sugar. It's probably making it worse. None of that is getting your vitamin D up, all of these different things. So Pamela, lupus, now pre-diabetic. So here's the deal. Your pre-diabetes, we know that blood sugar is swinging and it's going up too high. Every time it goes too high, it revs up that immune system and you destroy more tissue. So you've got to get that blood sugar as stabilized as possible. So I guarantee you, your blood sugar issues were contributing to your lupus even before you were diagnosed with prediabetes. So again, welcome everybody. Dr. Ben Gallier here, F8 Well Centers. We have offices in Fort Collins, Colorado, in Denver, in Nashville, and we work with patients remotely all over the United States, even around the world. So if you're in Ireland or South Africa, whatever, we can get your blood work there. We can review that and let you know exactly what you need to do. If you're looking for answers and solutions and not getting it from your neurologist, your endocrinologist, your specialist, your rheumatologist, click that link down below, schedule that discovery call, and let's get in depth into what you actually have going on. Jess, you want to share that landing page as well with our special offer today? I'm going to run that one today. We'll run, I think it's, let me know what it's at on there, Jess, but I think it's $127 for the special. We're going to be able to sit down with one of our doctors. I have multiple on my F8 team, over 100 years of experience between us. You're going to be able to review your history. It's an hour-and-a-half questionnaire that things you've never even thought about. You're going to sit down, review your blood work, look at all these different markers, figure out what's actually going on. If you need help, if you need support, do that right now. Schedule that appointment and let's truly start making some changes. What is the best vitamin D to take? I've been using vitamin D with K1 and K2 from Designs for Health and cannot get above 20 on my blood work. Yeah, that's interesting. You know, Designs for Health, pretty good company as far as their quality of their products. They're one of the few that actually test their products. So, if you're not absorbing it from there, one, you're probably not taking enough. If you're below 20, you may need 15,000 a day to get up closer to that 80 level. So you're going to have to raise up that number quite a bit. So check out your vitamin D. If you're dealing with inflammation, with autoimmune, diabetes, anything like that, your vitamin D needs to be upwards of 80. All right, so can food allergies cause fibromyalgia symptoms? Food allergies can be a major cause, and I'll go ahead and put this in here. We're going to consider fibromyalgia to be autoimmune. I almost guarantee 99% of the time, if somebody has fibromyalgia, they have some type of autoimmune going on. So I'm going to put food allergies up here as well. So great, thank you for leading me to my next one. So food allergens, especially gluten, corn, soy, dairy, those are some of the biggest ones. Can they lead to things like fibromyalgia? What is fibromyalgia? Fibromyalgia is not a real disease. I don't mean that in a negative way, like you're making this up, but it's not a real disease like, oh, it's the thyroid or it's the adrenals, whatever. No, it's a clump of symptoms. It's this inflammatory pain pattern that you are dealing with, and there's reasons why, but everybody's different with their fibromyalgia. And so the thing that we're looking at is food allergies, absolutely 100%. They're going to lead to leaky gut. They're going to lead to even probably some vitamin D deficiency. We've seen food allergens jack with the blood sugar. All types of different things get affected when people are eating foods that they're not supposed to. So what do you need to do? You need to go in depth and figure out which foods you shouldn't be eating. We usually take the foods out. We do an elimination diet. Here's why we don't do food allergy testing on every new patient. And some people do, but so many times it'll come back 20, 30, 40 different foods are positive on that test. And you're like, how in the world am I sensitive to celery or to chicken or whatever? And here's the deal though, if you have major leaky gut, you are going to show up for a lot of different foods on your food sensitivity test. And your body's going to just be reacting to so many things. You take those 40 foods out, and then next time you do the test, 40 other foods are going to show up because you've taken those out, but now you're eating these other things, but you didn't fix your gut. So we know that the vast majority of people, especially if you have autoimmune, you have leaky gut. I'm not even gonna question it. We don't need to test. We do, but we don't even need to test. We know you need to work on your gut, absolutely 100%. And do happy lights help with vitamin D or just depression? Michigan here. Hey, Lisa. So some of the box lights, the sad lights, seasonal affective disorder, those can absolutely help with the vitamin D. I would say if you truly want a light to get more vitamin D, you're probably going to need to go to the tanning bed, which is fine. So many people are like, oh my gosh, skin cancer. And it's like, no, if you're going 5-10 minutes, a couple times a week, you're not going to get skin cancer from going to the tanning bed. But you are going to warm up and relax, especially in a place like Michigan. Really, really important. You're not going to get enough vitamin D. What about ADHD or autism? Do you think there's underlying cause? Denica, absolutely. So these are two totally different things. ADHD is actually a form of ADD. ADD is attention deficit disorder. ADHD, you put an H in there, that's hyperactivity. So we know that if you throw that hyperactivity in there, it's just a different form of ADD. Why does somebody have that ADD? Well, in a brain map, we can actually test and see if somebody has true ADD. 2013, the FDA approved the brain map as a diagnostic tool for ADD. We can see hard time staying focused, easy going into this daydreaming state. So guess what? If you've got that pattern, it's going to be a lot harder to stay focused in class, all types of issues that you're having. But it's also affected by food allergens, by food colorings and dyes. Yes, people with autoimmune can have higher rates of ADD, ADHD kids, even autistic kids. There's so many things. When we look at a kiddo, I just had one yesterday in here, and neurofeedback is going to do amazing for this 15-year-old young man. And yet, we also need to work on his gut. His blood sugar is bad. His vitamin D was 9.8. We wanted at least 60, and it was 9.8. So it's crazy. So ADD, ADHD absolutely is going to be underlying causes, and neurofeedback is one of the best things you can do for that. But then otherwise, look at the metabolic state. Now, autism is a totally different thing. Just like autism and Asperger's are two totally different diseases. A lot of people will lump those into the same and say it's just part of the spectrum. But if you've done enough brain maps like we have, autism is going to look all highs, reds, and yellows. That brain is on fire. Asperger's is actually really low in the beta and the focus wave. Like engineers are low, and then you've got Asperger's is the next level from there, kind of like Rain Man, if you guys remember that movie. Super, super low. So we've had tons of success. I've got a little 5-year-old girl we're working on. We started last year, and she came in totally nonverbal, labeled autistic, all these things. After 2 months of neurofeedback, literally, I can show you videos, her and mom, she's running down the hallway. My neurofeedback tech, her name is Stephanie. She's like, I'm going to Stephanie's room. And she comes in and talks and tells stories. Totally verbal now, functioning. I mean, amazing, amazing, amazing things can happen with autistic kiddos. So we've got a couple more here. So again, everybody, welcome. Thanks for jumping on. Dr. Ben Galliard, F8 Well Centers. If you're looking for answers, looking for solutions, click that link down below, schedule that discovery call, and let's sit down and chat. This is a free call. We're just going to talk about what you have going on. I had a vertigo spin on Monday when I rolled over too fast to get off the floor after exercising. Is there something in addition to the Epley maneuver to help? I have a history of vertigo. Been told I have a weird bend in the ear canal, and I'm usually having minor sinus issues when this happens. Any markers to look for? So you would want to look for inflammatory markers. If you've got extra inflammation, that's going to do it. You probably want to stay away from gluten and dairy because those are both mucus producing foods, going to cause more issues in the sinuses. We have an amazing sinus spray. We'll do that preventatively 2-3 times a week. Really, really good at clearing that out. I do something called a nasal specific, where I take a balloon and actually stick it into the different nasal passages there and inflate it. And it's amazing for sinus issues. I have people fly in from all over the world to do that one. Just an amazing, amazing technique. I said if there's only one thing I could do on everybody for the rest of my life, it would be that one, and it would be most profound. You may want to do the Epley maneuver just on a preventative basis as well. Quick info on the difference between good soy forms and bad. So if you're a female, you can probably do some soy. For men, I really don't recommend much soy at all. The better forms of soy would be things like tempeh, miso soup, anything fermented. Tofu is a really bad form of soy. Tofurkey, Did you ever see one of those where they combine all the soy in and try to make a turkey out of it? Soy dogs, any of those things are not good sources. If you're going to do soy and you're a female, you want to do fermented. If you're going to do soy and you're a male, don't do it. All right, so how do you treat adrenal fatigue? That's a great question. Just like anything. So check out my books, Jess, if you want to put a link up there for my books. I've got 2 books on Amazon. First book I wrote was called Rebuild Your Brain. Stop the damage, start the repair. So same thing here. When we're looking at the adrenals, we have to stop damaging the adrenals and start repairing them. So you can't just jump into this repair phase and go, oh, I'm going to take ashwagandha, and I'm going to take maca, and I'm going to take adrenal glandular, and all these different things. Those things are important. But if you're still stressing them out dramatically, I had a patient yesterday, and we're 3 months into care, and his adrenals are still stressed. Well, guess what? His job is, he's out in the oil fields a lot of times at night. In the winter now, it'll be 0, 10 degrees out there. He's going from that into his hot truck and then back outside, back and forth multiple times a night. That 70, 80 degree swing, really dramatic and traumatic on the body. And then he gets up and he works out really hard and he's doing all these things that are stressing out the adrenals. And we're sitting here trying to boost him up and lift him up. But unless he makes some changes, it's going to be really hard. So you need to get a brain map and look at your alpha wave. If your alpha is up too high, it's going to be causing more of this fight or flight state. And then you need to deal with, jobs and cars and kids and COVID and presidents and gas prices and all those stressors. You need to pray more, relax more, meditate more, whatever you got to do to shut it down and to get out of that fight or flight state is huge. But number one thing that stresses the adrenals is the blood sugar swings. So if your blood sugar is going up too high or down too low, you're going to rev that up and cause damage in the adrenals, because the adrenals tell the liver to kick out stored glucose. So really, really important there to keep that stabilized. Hashimoto's and Addison's and PCOS, I need help. Karina, if you haven't scheduled that discovery call or even click that landing page, and you can do the 127 special today, let's jump into it, because this is a bunch. But here's the deal. PCOS, that is a blood sugar. That is what is called insulin resistance. So insulin resistance, and then this is why it's so fun to look at people from this perspective, is almost every one of these, okay, you got Hashimoto's, well, we got to look into this. You got PCOS, okay, we got insulin resistance, but there's also a vitamin D component to it. There's also an adrenal component, all these different things. So PCOS, number one thing you can do is stabilize your blood sugar between 85 and 110 all day, every day. How do you know that it's stabilized? Because you put a continuous glucose monitor on, or you do a finger prick glucose monitor, and you do that. If you're finger prick glucose monitor, you're gonna have to do it 6 to 8 times a day. If you're wearing the CGM, we get our patients those for 3 months, and they learn so much. But PCOS, absolutely reversible. You do not have to deal with that. You do not just have to take metformin or one of the new drugs out there. Absolutely not. Stacy, fibromyalgia, is there a way to get rid of it? Absolutely. So this is the same thought process. Just draw fibromyalgia in there, and you need to look at food allergens. Do an elimination diet, and then start bringing those foods back in and see what you react to. Start working on the adrenals. Stop damaging the adrenals and start repairing them. Get your blood sugar stabilized 85 to 110 all day and all night. So 85 to 110. Vitamin D, get your vitamin D up to 80. Leaky gut, we call that the 4 R's. Check out my YouTube channel. I've got a whole bunch of videos on how to repair, rebuild, reinoculate, all these things with leaky gut. You're going to have to look at it the same way. Heather and Michelle, same thing. Yeah, I need to heal my leaky gut, same thing. 4 R's. You need to remove the bad pathogens. You need to remove any food allergens. You need to replace any enzymes, stomach acid, bile salts for the gallbladder, any fiber for the large intestine. Anything along those lines, you need to replace those. You need to re-inoculate with probiotics after you do the kill off, and then you need to repair that gut lining as well. That's how you heal your leaky gut. 4 R's. Check out my YouTube channel, Jess, if you want to put a video link up there as well. I've got multiple on there on how to do that. I have alopecia universal and also have a positive ANA. The doctor ruled out lupus. What causes a positive ANA? Well, here's the deal. I don't know how he ruled out lupus. If that's just based off of symptoms, then that's not ruling out lupus. So if he ruled it out just with symptoms, then no. If you continue down this path you're on and you have positive ANA, you definitely could have lupus. There's other autoimmune conditions that show up with that positive ANA. And that would be mixed connective tissue disorder. So if you're getting a lot of joint issues, they're rolling your ankles a bunch, bum, elbow, shoulders, things like that. It could be mixed connective tissue disorder. It could be Sjogren's, which is where you start damaging and destroying the cells in your eyes and your mouth, so you get dry eyes, dry mouth, some of those things as well. So here's the deal. This is what we see all the time, is that people, if they have one autoimmune condition, they have multiple. I had a patient a couple of weeks ago, she came in, and 20 years ago, they diagnosed her with Hashimoto's. Didn't do anything besides give her thyroid medication, and guess what she has now? Now she's got rheumatoid arthritis. How do we know? Her joints hurt, and we ran rheumatoid factor, and it came up positive, and she's attacking her own joints. She's also got some weird burning, skin itching sensation that's probably autoimmune as well. So, you've got to address it. If you've got one, you've got multiple. So you've got to address these underlying whys. Hey guys, I am not going to have time to get through everybody's question here, but keep putting them down below. I'll get through as many as I can, and if you're one of our subscribers, we'll jump ahead and I'll make sure I answer that question. And you can check out that subscription that we have on TikTok. But also, if you guys want to ask this question and have me give you some feedback, send me a direct email. It's drben@f8wellcenters.com, DRBEN F8 wellcenters.com, and I would love to talk to you about what you have going on. Shoot me a message there. You can schedule a discovery call where for free we'll just sit down and talk about what you have going on and see if you're a good fit. If you're ready, you've been watching a bunch of videos, you've seen us forever, and you're ready to jump in, we've got the 127 special going today, which will be with our doctor, and you'll sit down, you'll review your entire history, go over the blood work, do an in-depth neurologic exam if you can get in the office, do a brain map if you can get in the office, we'll do a brain questionnaire if you can't get in the office, see if neurofeedback's good for you, and go through so many different things. Nancy, good to see you. Infrared light versus white light, so confusing. Infrared is great. Yeah, I really like infrared light. In our sauna, we do that. Infrared, it's got to heat up from the inside out. It has a lot of great benefit. We've got, hold on, I gotta jump back to these. Nick, how do you fix leaky gut? That's the biggest topic I see related to autoimmune and any long-term issues. Do you just eat clean while whole unprocessed foods and it heals itself? So here's what happens. If somebody has full-blown celiac, they've got gluten issue with celiac, they stop eating gluten. It can take, the research shows, it can take 4 years to heal up that gut lining just on its own. Just stop eating gluten and go live your American life. It can take 4 years to heal. We can heal that up in 4 months. We've seen it. I've had patients pre and post scopes and amazing changes in as little as 4 months. So we know it can heal, and you can heal a whole lot faster. So what do you need to do? Those 4 R's is the huge part of it. You need to remove any pathogens, any bad bacteria, yeast, H. pylori, candida, anything like that. You need to kill off. You need to remove any food allergens, especially if short-term, gluten, corn, soy, dairy, beans, nuts and seeds, any grains at all. We have people come off as they're healing. And then you want to re-inoculate with all the good bacteria. And we encourage people to rotate their bacteria through their probiotics. And then number 4 is repair it, which is aloe vera, marshmallow root, any type of glutamine, zinc carnosine, lots of different things can be healing and soothing as well for that gut. So great question. Lisa, thanks. You betcha. Nancy, soy okay for hormonal breast cancer survivor? Controversial. I would just stay away from soy. There's really not a lot of great benefits from eating soy, or drinking soy milk. So I would just stay away from it, Nancy. Teresa, I have Hashimoto's and am losing my hair at a very rapid rate. I do not consume grains, dairy, soy, processed foods, and I drink only water. What can I do to stop my hair loss and reverse the damage that's been done? Thank you. So if it's significant, that's probably not just the Hashimoto's. Remember, Hashimoto's is the body attacking the thyroid, and so you probably have low thyroid hormone getting to your tissues. Okay, so you're going to lose some hair, but if it's like significant and you're going to go bald if this keeps up, it's probably some type of alopecia. You probably want to go see a dermatologist, have them do a test to see if it is alopecia. But same thought process. Alopecia is an autoimmune disease, and we've got to go through and say, hey, what's going on in the stress level? Get those adrenals balanced out. What's your brain doing? Get that alpha wave, that fight or flight down, stabilize your blood sugar, get your vitamin D up, heal your leaky gut, fix any infections, especially chronic viral infections. So Epstein-Barr virus, we see this all the time. Look in your blood work, get your blood work out. Any of my lives, get your blood work out because I'm going to be hitting it off and on throughout. You got to look at these markers. If your white blood cell count is below 5.0, and your lymphocytes are higher than 38%, you probably have a chronic viral infection. Very commonly, it's chronic Epstein-Barr virus, which is going to drive autoimmune. So you've got to get each one of these things fixed, Teresa, to truly calm down your body attacking. What's the book title? So Eddie, we've got Rebuild Your Brain and Blood Sugar Doesn't Lie. We've got two books. I think Jess just put those links down on the Facebook page there as well. Okay. And this is why I actually hate most conventionalist doctors now. It's crazy. Yeah, here's the deal. Don't be a hater. That's their model. That's what they've been trained in. The amount of nutritional classes that a MD or DO has going through school is minimal. It's like 3 credits, and it's going to be food pyramid type crap. It's not going to be, hey, let's figure out what is truly causing the root cause. That's the wrong philosophy. In my original training was as a doctor of chiropractic, and a lot of people are like, oh, that you're just adjusting bones. I was like, no, we had tons of nutritional training through school. I did hundreds of hours of additional training. Pretty much every weekend I was in Dallas. Pretty much every weekend I did additional functional medicine training. But here's the major difference: is it's the philosophy, and this is actually why every one of the doctors that I have on my team actually comes from this background. Is it's the philosophy. The philosophy is your body has the potential to heal from the inside out. This is not a top-down, outside-in process where we say, hey, you're going to get enough drugs, you're going to get enough surgery. It's a deficiency of whatever type of Lexapro or medication of whatever pain pill or whatever it is. It's not a deficiency of any of that. It's your body is not working as well as it should. And that's what I want you guys to get out of this is it's the philosophy difference. And it's way easier to train somebody up in functional medicine that has that philosophy rather than bring them from the philosophy of this for that. You have this condition, you take this drug. You have this condition, now I'm natural, you take this supplement. Sure, we use supplements, but there's no amount of supplements that are going to fix you. Never. That is not going to fix this problem. So what do we need to do? We need to get to the underlying root causes, fix those, give your body a chance to heal, and that's how we see miracles from MS to rheumatoid arthritis to lupus to alopecia, that people grow back their hair, all kinds of different things. So that is great. Bobby Joe, what is the neurofeedback? Neurofeedback is we can either do it in office or we have home units with patients. Amazing for sleep, for anxiety, for depression. I've got a patient. She's in her 20s. She's had addiction issues for years and years and years. Just saw her last night doing amazingly better off all of her medications. First time in like 8 years. She's sleeping through the night. She's not ruminating and just doing amazing. We have people that have home units that we get them sleeping dramatically better. Anywhere in the country we can get these. It's an amazing, amazing tool. Each one of our locations, Fort Collins, Denver, Nashville, we have neurofeedback in each one of those offices. Not because I want to pay more rent or because I want to hire more people, but because it works and we get to see miracles every single day. ADD, ADHD, autism, Asperger's, Alzheimer's, all types of different things we're able to see in there. So great question. This is Sammy Sabrine, and I love, love, love this question. I don't love the question, but I love my answer to this question. Can we manage MS naturally? Can we manage MS? I hate that word. I love this question because of how I'm going to answer it, but I hate that word to manage. You do not want to manage your MS. My mom did not manage her MS. My mom had MS to the point where she had a cane, she had a wheelchair, she was on all the drugs, and they were managing her MS, and she was going to die within 10 years, guaranteed. It's now been 20 years since her last MRI, and she no longer has any plaquing on her spine or her brain. She's given away her wheelchair, her cane. I just talked to her this morning. She's going to be 80 in a couple months, and she was doing some kind of granny boot camp. She said, I was doing one of those HIIT workouts. Those HIIT workouts. I'm like, yes, mom, I know those HIIT workouts. And she was doing that. She went fishing. They had a foot of snow in Arkansas where they're at, but otherwise she'd probably be fishing today. You can heal. So that's what I want your thought process. Don't just manage an autoimmune condition. I want you to think about how can I heal from this? And that's not by suppressing your immune system enough. You don't go, oh good, now I finally healed from MS because I suppressed my immune system enough. That's not how that works. How do you figure out what triggers your Hashimoto's or any autoimmune? This is Nikki. How do you figure out what triggers your autoimmune? This is why you've got to do that in-depth blood panel. This is what we do with patients. No matter where you live in the country, we can get you into one of our LabCorp labs, or if you're out in the middle of nowhere, we can drop ship blood work to you. Even if you're in Ireland, if you can get the blood work done that we want to see, I'll sit down with you personally, sit down with you on Zoom. If you're in South Africa or Australia, tell you exactly what you need to take, get you set up on a program, and get your life cranking there. So infections, then we have environmental toxins. And so that's going to be even like mold, if you've had water damage in your house, if you work next to the diesel trucks and you've got diesel fumes coming in every day, so many things can drive that as well. So we've got food allergies, we've got adrenals, blood sugar, vitamin D, leaky gut, infections, environmental. Then we also have estrogenic events. So a lot of women, it's going to be after they have a baby or going through menopause. Last year I had 3 teenage girls that we found with Hashimoto's in the same month. What was that? Puberty. So many times estrogenic events are going to drive this type of issue as well. So absolutely a big part of the problem. So what do you need to do? Nikki, you need to go through, get the right blood work done and look into does it look like you have food allergies? Does it look like you have leaky gut? Is there a vitamin D deficiency? What's your blood sugar doing? All these different things you just have to get cranking through there. How do you keep cortisol under control? Chronic anxiety. This is Buffy Carey. Great to see, great to hear from you there, Buffy. So how do you keep that cortisol under control when you have chronic anxiety? Well, first of all, number one thing that we see with chronic anxiety, especially if it's random anxiety, is blood sugar swings, especially the dips. So that blood sugar, 85 to 110 all day, every day. And if that blood sugar crashes down, it's going to rev up the adrenals. You're going to tell your liver to kick out glucose, but you've also got adrenaline going through your body then. So if you're having random anxiety throughout the day, if you're like, oh my gosh, I was doing okay and now I'm freaking out, that is 9 times out of 10 a blood sugar crash. If you're waking up in the middle of the night and your heart's racing, if you're waking up and you can't shut your mind down, that's usually that blood sugar is coming down. So we've got to get that blood sugar stabilized as possible. And then number two, you need to get a brain map done. If you can't get into one of our offices to get a brain map done, we have questionnaires that match up very well with the brain map that we can do. And you can even do neurofeedback remotely, but you've got to be able to calm that down. We've got tons and tons of testimonials. We've got a Facebook, private Facebook support group for all of our patients. And you should see the number of people in there that respond if somebody says, I didn't end up doing neurofeedback. Do you think it's helpful? And people just go, oh my gosh, amazing, 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 amazing. Anxiety's gone, just over and over and over. So those are the two biggest things you need to do to help with that. So Heather Sanchez, good to see you. TPO less than 9. So that's not one type of Hashimoto's. You also need to check your TG, your thyroglobulin. So if you're looking for Hashimoto's, which is autoimmune thyroid, you have to check TPO and thyroglobulin antibodies. TSH is 3.26. I don't like it over 3, so we're a little bit high there. So that usually means the body is trying to make the thyroid do more work. So it's a little bit low. And hemoglobin A1C is 5.9. So you are at your pre-diabetic creeping into diabetes range. So 5.7 is the cutoff for pre-diabetes, 5.7 and above. 5.9, 6.0, I'm starting to think somebody's diabetic. So you are very high blood sugar. Your TSH, your body's trying to whip the horse. We only know half the Hashimoto's markers, and this is why it's so important. I'm not beating you up here, Heather. I'm just showing people that you've got to look at everything. When we look at our blood work, we look at hormones, testosterone, estrogens. We look at adrenal hormones, all the thyroid hormones, not just free T4, but what about total T4? But what about free T3? What about total T3? Your free T4 is okay. Maybe you're not converting to T3 like you need to. So many different things, and that's the difference with F8's blood work versus everybody else out there is we've got to get in depth into each individual system, and then we truly know what is going on here. We're not just going to guess and go, oh, this is our MS autoimmune protocol, everything's fine. I'm like, that doesn't work. That's not going to fix anything. How do you decrease inflammation? Pamela, great question. Same thought process. This is an immune inflammatory cascade that's driving this autoimmune. So how do you decrease inflammation? You go, okay, well, we've got, what are the adrenals doing? Are you in a chronic stress state? That's gonna increase inflammation. Are you sleeping? If you're not sleeping well, that's going to increase inflammation. Is your gut irritated? Do you have infection in there? Do you have leaky gut? That's going to increase inflammation. Is your blood sugar swinging all over the place? Is your vitamin D too low? Vitamin D helps with inflammation. So many different things. We just sent out another email this morning actually on vitamin D and the immune system. If you guys are not on our email list, go ahead and put your email down below, and Jess will make sure we get that in there. Send out weekly emails. We don't spam you or anything, just tons of good content, tons of good information in there, and you'll be the first to know, and even some things that we can't talk about on social media, which is always fun. And then again, if you do become a F8 patient, you get access to that Facebook support group, which is amazing. We have tons of extra content in there. We've got over 400 people in there now that are bouncing ideas off each other and just really doing an amazing job. Let's see. And Sjogren's, yeah, Tina, Sjogren's is the same thing. So we've got, this is ANA is probably high. Sjogren's, you get dry mouth, dry eyes. You probably need to go through each and every one of these systems and see which is out of balance, and then you need to start taking massive action. And for a lot of people that have one autoimmune condition, they have multiple. Casey, any input on CRPS for my 16-year-old? Yeah, same thought process. We've got to, this is what happens when you start getting into these obscure conditions, diseases, whatever. And you just go, hey, you know what? Let's throw the net out wide. Let's do our blood work, do as much as we possibly can, and then come up with what the underlying imbalances are, and then we start moving our feet and fix those. And that's how we get to see miracles all the time, Casey. Click that link down below, schedule that discovery call, Casey. We would love to talk to you about your daughter. I love working with kids because if we can help her now, amazing, amazing changes, not going to have to deal with this the rest of their life. Harvey, good to see you. I have psoriatic arthritis. I've had it for 25 years, getting worse as I age. Yeah, Harvey, you didn't, I guarantee you didn't address all these things that were out of balance. And that's what you've got to do. And you probably even have other things being attacked at this point. Just like my patient a couple weeks ago, that she had Hashimoto's. 20 years, they just gave her medication, thyroid medication, did nothing for the autoimmune, and now she's got rheumatoid arthritis and some weird skin burning, itching thing that's probably autoimmune, but the doctors don't even know what it is at this point. Just coming on, is there a conclusive test for leaky gut? Sorry if you're repeating. No, Robin, that's okay. Yeah, thanks for jumping on. And leaky gut, so again, 4 R's. Check out my YouTube channel. I've got tons of videos on leaky gut and autoimmune on there. You can get super in depth in there. Conclusive test, I would say no. I would say, there's things we can look, check tight junctions, and we can check zonulin and all types of things. My favorite is, and it's the easiest, is just to look at your blood work. If your eosinophils, it's in the CBC numbers, if your eosinophils are over 2%, there's a very good chance you have leaky gut. But here's the deal. If you have autoimmune, you've got leaky gut. Somebody asked me a while back, does everybody have leaky gut? And I go, no, that's not everybody. But if you've got autoimmune, yeah, then it's pretty much everybody. So what do you need to do? If you've got an autoimmune condition, you've got to go through the 4 R's. You've got to start healing that gut lining and just getting your body as dialed in and strong as feasibly possible. Let's see, Buffy, multiple, unfortunately. Yeah, but also in perimenopause, which makes it worse, hot and cold all the time. Yeah, so that's the deal, Buffy. You have multiple autoimmune conditions. We see this all the time. And then perimenopause, that's this estrogenic event here. And so when estrogen makes major changes, you're going to potentially drive that autoimmune. That's why a lot of women, they're like, I was never the same after having a baby. And it just sucks, and it's not fair. You're like, I get this beautiful little thing, but it also drove autoimmune into my body. So welcome anybody jumping on. Dr. Ben Gallagher here at F8 Well Centers. We have brick and mortar offices in Fort Collins, Colorado, Denver, Nashville, but then we also work with patients remotely all over the U.S., even up in Canada. And then even if you're out of the country or continent, if you're in Australia or Europe or whatever, I can do a consult with you. If you can get blood work done where you are, I'll give you exactly the list that you need to do. Once you get that done, I'll sit down with you and let you know exactly what's going on and what we need to do. We can do that over Zoom and just really create some massive changes there. Teddy, I have alopecia and also have positive ANA. Yep. We did that one. POTS, Lizotron, POTS. POTS is definitely, whether it's autoimmune, it is definitely inflammatory. It's some type of immune inflammatory process, and we've helped tons of patients with POTS. That's where somebody will just be sitting there, and then their blood pressure crashes down, they get dizzy, their heart rate jumps up crazy, and they crash. Or if they're standing, going from seated to standing, any changing positions, absolutely that POTS is horrible. It feels really yucky. A lot of times it goes with Ehlers-Danlos. A lot of those people are going to be having these issues as well. But I've seen it a lot with COVID patients or post-COVID shot patients. And we see this all the time, but we're able to help it dramatically. So absolutely, same idea. Yeah, we just go through and fix what we find. How can I help my compression fracture pain in addition to physical therapy? I would look into cold laser therapy. That may be helpful as well. Depending on what type of injury it is, traction might be helpful as well. And Dawn, been nauseous for almost 15 years, been to many doctors and get no results. So you could call this gastroparesis. Some people are literally throwing up every day. We see this all the time. We get patients that are either pooping 20, 30 times a day, throwing up every day, nauseous every day. It's fixable. And I'm not going to say it's easy, but those are actually pretty easy cases. We work through the different digestive pathways, the different all the way from the mouth to the stomach to the small intestine, large intestine, all the way through. And we just work through each one of those systems, and we get to see miracles all the time. So if you're nauseous every day, if you know somebody that's throwing up every day, gastroparesis, any of those things, I would love to talk to you, because there is a chance to heal. And we've got a great special going on. Just put that link down below, and it is $127, and you get to touch base with our doctor. We're going to sit down, go over your in-depth comprehensive history, which is like an hour and a half, 2 hours to do it. If you're coming into the brick and mortar office in Colorado or Tennessee, which we have patients come down from Pennsylvania or from California, all kinds of things, we'll be able to do a brain map, do the in-depth neurologic metabolic exam. If we can't do that, if you can't get into the office, we can do it remotely. We'll give you a questionnaire if you can't do the brain map that matches up with that very well. And we can see if neurofeedback would be a good option for you, do all of this good stuff. So click that landing page down below. Jessica has that. And if you want to jump in, we can get cranking on there. If you want to schedule a free discovery call and just see if you're a good candidate for care and not really quite sure what's going on, you can do that as well. There's links down below. But yeah, just take action, move your feet, guys. Your health, unfortunately, it's not just going to get better. So here's somebody, they're sick, they're living the exact same way, doing the exact same thing. Their health will not get better. Their disease is actually going to get worse. It's going to keep going. There's no way my mom would have healed her MS and be doing Granny Boot Camp at almost 80 years old if she had done everything the same that had got her to that point. So you've got to turn it 180 degrees, going this way, turn it back that way, and go, no, I am done. I am done being sick. I'm done taking medications. I'm done doing surgeries. Whatever they're just trying to cover up. If you're done with that, let us know, and we can absolutely help you through that process. Nancy, you are welcome. Farm Patriots, discovery call scheduled. Thank you, Dr. Ben. Awesome. Farm Patriots, great to see you. Hey, how those chickens doing? We just got chickens this year, and I'm pretty thankful we did, because we've had them in the past, but haven't for a while, because I guess eggs are not cheap right now. What if your blood sugar stays below 85 most of the time, will rise after eating, but then go back down to below 85? Tina, that is hypoglycemia. That is very stressful for the adrenals, and that is going to create a lot of damage long term. You've got to get that blood sugar stabilized. All right. My granddaughter's 15 with heart issues, PCOS, etc., and more stuff I don't know. Angie, have her parents get a hold of us. We would love to talk about this. I mean, that just breaks my heart to hear a 15-year-old already have PCOS and already have heart issues. But here's the thing. 95% of what's going on is what she's putting in her mouth. Food, liquids, anything like that, totally doable. What about chronic daily migraines? This is Kay Boucher. Chronic migraines, yeah, there's a reason why. Is it a blood flow thing? Is it a structural thing? Is it a toxic thing? Is it a hormone thing? There are reasons why migraines can get better, and we see migraines get better every single day. So here's another one. This is Nana Hope. I have lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, Sjogren's, and fibromyalgia. Yeah, so guess what? They're all the same thing. We've got to address the adrenals, the blood sugar, estrogenic events, vitamin D, leaky gut, viral infections, or bacterial infections, environmental toxins, food allergies, all of these different, and I could draw 10 more lines off of here, but all of these things, we've got to get to the underlying root cause. Can H. pylori cause low stomach acid? No, H. pylori will not cause low stomach acid. H. pylori is the bacteria. Low stomach acid can actually allow H. pylori to settle into the stomach. So usually low stomach acid is first. Why do we get low stomach acid? As we age and as we're under stress, we produce less stomach acid. Any of you guys doing that? Give me a heart. Give me a thumbs up. Anybody stressing or aging out there? Yeah, welcome to America, or the world, planet Earth, wherever you are. You're doing both of those, I guarantee it. So 5% of the population does not make enough stomach acid. Some people do, but the vast majority do not. So that's going to actually allow the H. pylori to proliferate. If you want to eat sushi and you don't want to get parasites, take betaine hydrochloride with that meal, take extra stomach acid with that meal, and that can actually help kill off any of the parasites that are going to be found in that raw fish. Because if you're eating a lot of sushi, you got parasites. Do you have a home neurofeedback unit that you recommend? Yes, absolutely. We've got our own. We went to the manufacturer and said, hey, this is exactly what we want. These are the protocols that we want on there, and we have an amazing unit that we use with a lot of patients. So this is from Eddie. Yeah, absolutely. Reach out. Let's talk about that. Hey, Misty, can a traumatic event cause an autoimmune flare-up and possible cause other autoimmune diseases to occur? Misty, I hope you're not talking about yourself. If you are, reach out, let me know what's going on. Adrenals, absolutely. So adrenals, one-time traumatic event or long-term low-grade stress absolutely can do that. And that can drive that autoimmune reaction. And remember, other autoimmune diseases, it's all the same thought process. It's the same thing. So the body just goes and starts attacking a different tissue. So totally can happen. But Misty, we'll be praying for you and whatever's going on in your life there. But reach out, let me know what's going on. I'd love to catch up. Okay. Sue, do you test for Lyme? We do down the road if we need to. A lot of people come in and they already know they have Lyme, or we've got enough symptoms for it. But here's the deal. There's some doctors, that's all they do. Everybody's got Lyme. They test everybody's got Lyme, and they treat them for Lyme, and it's the same protocol. But there is no great Lyme protocol. And I've trained with Dr. Klinghardt and some of the world's greats with Lyme disease, and yet, it's like one more kill off, one more antibiotic. That's never going to fix the underlying why. Hey, Kimber, where to start for acne? Pretty sure it's candida overgrowth and gut hormonal. So you're right on there, Kimber. The first place, if you have a skin issue, acne, eczema, psoriasis, itching, whatever it is, hives, look to the gut first. That's where we've got to start. Yes, there's probably a hormone component to it as well. Maybe you've got some PCOS, you've got some other things, but we've got to start in that gut, and that's the biggest thing. You've got to look in depth, get that whole body figured out. So here's the deal, guys. I've got to jump. I've got patients in a couple minutes, but I want you guys to know that there is hope. No matter what health condition you or a loved one is dealing with, there is hope. And you can have a life, just like my mom, going to turn, March 24th, going to turn 80 years old. And I just talked to her this morning, she was doing grading boot camp. She said, I was doing one of those HIIT classes. Do you know about those? And I go, yes, I've heard of HIIT classes, Mom. And she's out there cranking away. She's fishing. She takes my kids on hikes and takes them out in the float tube fishing in the middle of the lake. All these things. She had MS. She was full-blown MS, had a wheelchair, and was able to heal from that, has no more plaquing, and that's been over 20 years. Not just in remission, she is truly healed. We see patients, no matter what condition they have going on, they can get so much dramatically better if they put the time and energy in, if they work through our FA process, which is not everybody does the same thing, but it is hey, if your liver's off, we know what to do. We're going to help heal that. If your gut's off, we know what to do. We're going to help heal that. And so we go through step by step by step. So if you're not getting the solutions, if you're not getting the help that you need, and you're not getting true health care, you're getting sick care, then reach out. Schedule that discovery call, FAWellCenters.com. You can check out our website. If you're ready to take massive action and want to jump in on this special today, $127, you get to talk to one of our doctors, sit down, review all the paperwork with you over an hour and a half, 2 hours to fill it all out. Tons of questions, things you haven't even thought about. If you can get it to the brick and mortar, come get a brain map, come do the in-depth neurologic metabolic exam. If you can't, we can get you the questionnaire remotely. Be able to dial that in, and if neurofeedback's appropriate for you, we'll recommend that. If we need nutritional support, we'll recommend that. Dietary changes, whatever it is, we're going to hold your hand, get you a continuous glucose monitor, and truly help you get your life back. Love to touch base with you guys. Schedule in. If you don't, if you're not on our email list, put your email down below. Jess will grab that, and we'll get you on the email list. We have weekly emails that go out, just educational. email. We're not spamming, loading people up on tons of things. We just want to get you information. We have tons to offer and just get you guys your life back, because there is hope and there is a chance for you to truly heal and not just cover up symptoms. That is not what we want to do. We want to get to those root causes and get your life back. So whatever it is, autoimmune or just inflammation or just a brain thing or whatever it is, you have hope, and that's what I want you to come away with today. So love seeing you guys. If I didn't get to your question, Dr. Ben at fa-wellcenters.com. I would love to reach out that way as well. But otherwise, take care, everybody. Love you guys, and be